Radio.
It could change the world.
Listening to WRPR.
Hey, parents of children with asthma, here's another hit from the Breathe Easies.
Don't smoke in the house. Don't smoke in the house. Don't smoke around the kids in the house. Don't smoke in the car. Don't smoke in the house. Don't break my heart with your secondhand smoke in the kids and can trigger the asthma.
Preventing asthma attacks can be as simple as making your home and car smoke-free zones. For more Breathe Easy tips to help stop asthma attacks, go to noattacks.org. Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even back then you can call me CEO.
Hello, fans of all ages. This is indeed the Beasts of the East. Ryan Morick here with you on WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. No Scott Thompson with me today, but thank you for tuning in on this Monday, November 2nd, 2015. Beast of the East, WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio, coming to you live from Studio A here in Ramapo College of New Jersey in Mahwah, New Jersey. Again, no Scotty T, but we will have Shane Sullivan, who is the founder of BaseballFam.com. He also has a Twitter account. It's at SHT. I figured you guys can spell that out. At SHT Ball Players Do. 24 years old. This guy's an entrepreneur. He gets paid to talk about baseball, so we're really excited to have him on. He'll come on at around 6:20. I apologize for the background noise. That thing hasn't stopped going off for the last, I don't know how long, but somehow we're going to have to deal with it. But the baseball season's over, and the Kansas City Royals are world champions. And to be completely honest, the Royals were, without a doubt, the worst matchup for the New York Mets. I looked at this series when it first started, and I said to myself, you know what? If the New York Mets can take down the Chicago Cubs, then there is no possible way that the Mets are going to lose to Kansas City. I thought that once the Mets got past the power hitters that are the New York Mets, that are the Chicago Cubs, I thought that the World Series was theirs, plain and simple. And it turns out that was actually the better matchup for the New York Mets. We found out that in order to beat the Mets, you need a lot of guys who know how to get on base, a lot of guys who know how to fight, and that is the Kansas City Royals. That's how they are, and they know how to beat you. They don't beat you because they hit well. They beat you because they know how to play the game of baseball. We'll get into it in a couple minutes, but you see Eric Hosmer running on every chance he can possibly get. As soon as Eric Hosmer saw a chance, he took it. We'll get into the play with David Wright and then do the airmail and the throw, and then even the delayed steal later on. People said that he read a ball in the dirt. He did not read a ball in the dirt. The guy was stealing no matter what. And an unbelievable play by Eric Hosmer. And this team just knows how to get it done. You don't look at their lineup and you say, I'm scared of this guy, I'm scared of that guy. They don't have threats like Anthony Rizzo, and they don't have the guys who you really go up against and you say, okay, this is going to be a very tough matchup. But the thing is, I think that is their strength. The Kansas City Royals, they have the right guys. They don't have the good guys. They have the right guys. You heard that phrase in Miracle where Herb Brooks says, I'm not looking for the good players, I'm looking for the right ones. And that's the Kansas City Royals. The Royals are, without a doubt, the most complete team in the major leagues. They have base stealers, they have a solid offensive core, they have good starters, and they have a great bullpen, and they can play defense. And the thing that killed the Mets was their defense. Yoenis Cespedes killed them. Daniel Murphy killed them. We'll get into that in a moment. But the Royals were flat out the better team. The best team in the league won the World Series. That's how it is. That's how it was this year. The best team was the Kansas City Royals. They are world champs. Now, the main story of last night is obviously the Matt Harvey situation, where Terry Collins said that he was coming out after 8, and then Dan Worthen went up to him and said, "You're done." And then Matt Harvey kept saying, "No way, no way, I'm not getting taken out of this game." You heard it over and over again.
No way! No, that's ridiculous!
It is ridiculous. There's no way that they were taking out Matt Harvey. No, there's no way that they should have taken out Matt Harvey. They should have started him in the 9th, and the thing that gets me was that they did not go batter by batter. Terry Collins said after the game that if he just did one batter, then Terry Collins didn't do his job as a manager. The point of extending someone's outing is to go batter by batter. Terry Collins said that the idea wasn't to go batter by batter. If he went one batter, then what's the point of putting him out anyway? The point of going batter by batter is to see if he has it or not. And you know what? Matt Harvey didn't have it after going into the 9th inning. I'm not going to criticize Terry Collins for throwing him out in the 9th inning because Matt Harvey was the best option. Familia has not been very good as of late. He was dominant in the NLDS and the NLCS, but since the World Series, he had 2 blown saves. One of them wasn't his fault, and then last night was definitely not his fault, obviously. But he has not been on his game. Matt Harvey was the best option in the top of the 9th. You send him out there. And if you're worried about his pitch count, Matt Harvey has 4 months to rest up now. And you know what? Sticking with Matt Harvey. This was the guy where a month ago we were questioning if he wanted to throw. All those questions went out the window last night. This guy wanted the ball more than anyone on that New York Mets team. He wanted to finish this game, and that's why you heard him go, "No way, no way." We saw the conversation he had. And you know what? He couldn't get the job done, and Terry Collins waited one batter too long. He walked Lorenzo Cain, who was a threat on the base paths, and then he left Harvey in, and then the next batter got a double. Cain stole the base, double, 2-1 game. And then a ground ball to first base, then moves over the runner. And then we all know the play. We're right through to Duda, and then Duda airmailed it. So again, not criticizing Terry Collins at all for sending Matt Harvey out. I'm going to criticize Terry Collins for 2 things. And neither of them are giving Matt Harvey the chance to start the 9th inning. The first thing I'm going to criticize him for is, I've been saying it since the show started practically. He left him in one batter too early. One batter too much, excuse me. As soon as he walks the guy, Terry Collins has to go out there and say, "You're done." Because Terry Collins went against his gut once already. You couldn't go against your gut twice, and that's what he did. He went against his gut and said, "All right, Matt, finish it up. You want this, go get it." Which is okay. Matt Harvey wanted that ball, and he convinced Terry Collins that he wanted to get the final 3 outs and send the series back to Kansas City. And you know what? Props for Terry Collins for believing in his players. I give him a lot of credit for that. But once you see that Harvey walks the first guy, then you have to take him out. You have to take him out. Because right then and there, that's when you realize that Matt Harvey is no longer the best option in the top of the 9th inning. That's when you have to bring in Jeurys Familia. And then the second thing I'm going to criticize Terry Collins for is the fact that Terry Collins didn't have the nerve to go up to Matt Harvey himself and say, "Matt, great game, you're done." That's Terry Collins' job, to go up to Harvey, give him a hug, give him a kiss on the cheek, and say, you threw one heck of a ball game, and he couldn't do that. Instead, he had the pitching coach go up to Matt Harvey and say, Terry says you're done. And then you saw Matt Harvey eyeball Terry Collins like a hawk and ran after him. So let me get this straight. Terry Collins can go up to Matt Harvey in September against the Yankees and say, you're done after 5 innings when he's throwing a gem. But in November baseball, in Game 5 of the World Series, a must-win, mathematically a must-win game, you didn't have the nerve to go up to Matt Harvey and say, you're done, great game. You had to tell the pitching coach. I've been a big fan of Terry Collins all year. But you know what? The World Series, he did not manage very well. He did not manage the bullpen very well. He did not manage Matt Harvey very well last night. He didn't. It's that simple. As a manager, you have to know that you are taking control of the players. And you know what? Again, I give Matt Harvey credit for wanting the ball. I give Terry Collins a lot of credit for trusting Matt Harvey and wanting the ball and giving him the shot to start the 9th inning. Because the fans were chanting, we want Harvey. Everyone wanted Matt Harvey to go out there for the top of the 9th. And then it didn't happen. Why, I don't know. He just didn't have it. His stats after his 100 pitches are not very good. Maybe that's why Terry Collins wanted him out. But Harvey was throwing a gem, and I think Collins made the right decision by starting Matt Harvey. But he did not make the right decision by telling Harvey that he was done, A, and then B, taking him out after the walk to Lorenzo Cain. One batter too much. Collins, it's not that he didn't even he had no excuse for it. He didn't take the blame on himself. He literally said that he didn't want him to go batter by batter. I've never seen a manager go against the batter by batter scheme. That's what you're supposed to do. If you see that someone doesn't have it in the first batter, then you got to take him out. But he didn't do that. And you know what? If you're going to blame Terry Collins, you have to blame that. You have to put the blame on that because that is bad managing. That's bad managing, especially for someone who used to be a bullpen coach. Bullpen coaches know a lot about guys' arms, and he didn't manage the bullpen well. He didn't manage Matt Harvey well. There's no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that, and he didn't have one. He didn't have one because he said he basically did not believe in having a batter by batter form. How could you not go batter by batter? If he goes one batter, then that's not his job. You know what? That is his job. And it's your job to make sure that he gets those batters out. Would Familia have gotten out the side? I have no idea. He did face only 3 batters last night. You never know. It is a whole different situation, but you can't leave Matt Harvey in the game when he walks the leadoff batter. You can't. You can't. Because that puts a lot of pressure on him. And you saw Terry Collins, after Lorenzo Cain walked, he was not happy. He was mad at himself for being pushed over. And then once he's so mad at himself, why didn't he go with his gut then? You see that Matt Harvey walked some guy. You're mad inside that you let your player walk over you, and you don't do anything about it. That's bad managing by Terry Collins. And again, he managed very well this year. He managed very well in the first 2 series. World Series, he did not manage very well. Now, the other play that had a huge effect on the game, obviously, the Lucas Duda play. Real quick, if you're blaming David Wright, stop. David Wright did everything perfectly. He did everything perfectly. Was it Wilmer Flores' ball? Sure. But you know what? David Wright did the right thing by seeing that it was a slow roller, cutting Flores off, and then what was the first thing David Wright did when he fielded that ground ball? Something that every infielder is taught to do when there is a guy on base. Always check the runner before making the commitment to throw to first base. And that's exactly what David Wright did. People are saying that if you let Flores field the ball, David Wright would have been playing more toward third base, and he would have held on Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer was no more than 9 feet away from the base. And you know what? Wilmer Flores would have done the same thing. Wilmer Flores, if he fields that ball, he would have checked and went and won. The same thing that David Wright did. So you're telling me that if David Wright was shading more toward third base, Eric Hosmer would have been staying on the bag? No shot. Eric Hosmer was running no matter what. Ryan Morrick, Beast to the East, WRPR 90.3 FM. Please call in with your thoughts. 201-825-1234. That is the phone number. 201-825-1234. We'll have Shane Sullivan on in about 4 or 5 minutes. He'll be on at 6:20, so stay tuned for that. But call in 201-825-1234. But again, Eric Hosmer is a very aggressive base runner. Eric Hosmer was going anyway. You saw just before that the ball was released, he was going. As soon as the ball made contact, he took a couple of steps off of third base. The only way he was not going is if the ball was hit right to Murphy or Duda. He saw that a long throw had to be made from the left side of the field, so he went. So you cannot blame David Wright at all because he did the right thing. And you know what? David Wright is a much better fielder than Wilmer Flores. It's that simple. You cannot blame David Wright. And I know Keith Hernandez, 11-time Gold Glove winner, he even criticized David Wright. I'm sorry. Skill does not mean you're smart. I'm not taking anything away from Keith Hernandez. The guy is very smart. But you know what? I think David Wright did the right thing. I think that he was supposed to field that ball, and he did so, and he did it the right way. David Wright did nothing wrong. He did everything fundamentally correct. As soon as he fielded the ball, he checked to see where Hosmer was, and then Hosmer went. Hosmer was going no matter what. And we saw with the delayed steal later on in that game, Eric Hosmer did not see a ball in the dirt. Eric Hosmer saw that d'Arnaud has zero arm, and every time d'Arnaud catches a ball, he has to frame it to show the umpire that it's a strike. So you know what? Eric Hosmer, great job. Eric Hosmer did not read a ball in the dirt. Eric Hosmer did a delayed steal all on his own, and that's amazing baseball IQ by Eric Hosmer. Aggressive base runner, and both times he ran, it worked out. And you know what? People aren't criticizing David Wright or Wilmer Flores if Lucas Duda makes a good throw. Everything was perfect for Lucas Duda. He's a right-handed thrower, so he didn't have to pivot. There was a strike right to him, and then he just lost it. And you know what Kansas City scouting report said? It said we're going to run on 2 people, Lucas Duda and Travis d'Arnaud. That's simple. And you know what? That's what Eric Hosmer did. He ran on both d'Arnaud and Duda in the span of 2 or 3 innings. All Duda had to do was have a decent throw. A halfway decent throw would have had Hosmer, and we'd be going to Game 6 in Kansas City. That simple. That simple. But Lucas Duda just threw it to no man's land. All the throw had to be was on the glove side of Travis d'Arnaud and not 5 feet over his head. It had to be from the chest down. d'Arnaud, catch, tag, game over, Game 6 in Kansas City. So you know what? Blame Wright, blame whatever you want. But you know what? If Lucas Duda makes the throw, then we're going to Game 6 in Kansas City. Because David Wright threw a strike. no matter who was throwing that ball, Flores or Wright, Eric Hosmer was still going. No matter who threw the ball, Flores or Wright, Lucas Duda made a terrible throw. He had so much field to work with. All he had to do was throw the ball on his right side, Darno's left side, the glove side. And he threw it to the backstop, and it was a terrible throw. You look at people are comparing it to 50 Cent's first pitch. That's what it looked like. That's how bad of a throw that was. And people are going to blame David Wright because he didn't hold on Eric Hosmer. Again, Eric Hosmer was running either way because the Kansas City scouting report said we're running on two people, Lucas Duda, who has no arm, clearly, and Travis d'Arnaud, because he has no arm. The last time the Mets threw someone out from the plate, caught someone stealing, September 30th. September 30th was the last time a Mets catcher threw someone out. So they went the whole postseason without throwing out a base runner. Think about that. We got Shane Sullivan on the phone. Shane, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. Thanks a lot for calling in. So, real quickly, before we get into all the baseball talk, tell us about the website, the podcast, the Twitter account. Real quick, actually, quick question. Was this the plan when you were in my situation, college student, trying to look for a job, you played college ball? Was this your plan?
Dude, there was no plan at all. The plan was, honestly, it all started with the Twitter account, and the plan was, I'm sitting in night class right now. These things are like 3 hours long, and they stink, and they're incredibly boring, and I got to find something to do. So I would always like scroll Twitter, and I found some accounts that were kind of doing what I was doing, and to be quite honest, I thought they were pretty bad. And I was like, this looks like it could be kind of fun. I know I can do it a heck of a lot better. Started tweeting in class, and now here we are 4 years later.
Sweet. Well, congratulations on everything. That's awesome. That's an awesome story. I'm sure you brag about it a lot. Tell us real quick about the new website, baseballfam.com, formed, just about a month and a half or so ago. And now that comes with a new podcast. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, man, it's really exciting. Baseballfam.com launched about 2 months ago, kind of in affiliation with the Twitter account, and the podcast came out October 19th. So it's only been doing it a couple weeks, and like I said, it's really just an affiliation with the Twitter account, kind of a place where I can give my thoughts that are more than 140 characters, or a 10-second Snapchat or whatever. And it's, I think we're pretty unique. We got a pretty sweet team of writers that are all baseball players themselves, and it's kind of just a look at the baseball media from the perspective of the actual players. So, like bringing we got a lot of really big name, cool guys, MLB players on for the podcast this off season. We got a sweet schedule, and I think people are just enjoying the fact that it's a place to read and write and hear some baseball perspective from the guys who are actually doing it. I mean, nothing against ESPN or MLB Network and all those guys, but they were communications majors in college and ended up writing about baseball. I think it's kind of refreshing for people to have a place to go and listen to a podcast and read a website where the content is coming from us, the baseball players.
That's awesome, man. And did you predict any of this? I mean, the Twitter account has over 110,000 followers. You're already one of the number one podcasts on iTunes. Did you expect any of this to happen?
I expected none of it to happen. I mean, this is all. I'm as shocked as anybody, but it's just been so much fun. I guess I'm the luckiest guy ever because everything that we've been doing seems to be hitting pretty well. But I mean, baseballfam.com wasn't the first website we launched. I mean, we screwed up like 2 or 3 of them before, and really just took everything I learned and put it into the new site and the new podcast. And yeah, I mean, the podcast is a ton of fun. I mean, you've got your own radio show too, so I'm sure you know all about it. But
yeah, it's a lot.
Being in control of the own show and deciding who we bring on, and it's been a lot of fun. But I was so shocked with the response. I mean, the following that we have and the readers, we got like 100,000 readers a month online. Like you said, the podcast went up to number 1. I mean, seeing the podcast ahead of like Colin Cowherd and Fox Sports and ESPN, which is absolutely insane. But I think it just goes to show how awesome the audience we've built is and how much they're really looking forward to what we're putting out.
Yeah, that's sick. Congratulations again, man. Before we get into all the World Series talk, speaking of the World Series, you're a huge Indians fan. They were predicted by Sports Illustrated to win the World Series. You know this more than I do. What the heck happened?
Oh, my goodness, dude. If I had the answer to that question, I'd probably be working for the Indians right now. I don't think very many people know why that happened. I mean, I don't remember ever being as excited going into a baseball season as I was this one. You know, a couple of weeks before the season came out, ESPN released those, or Sports Illustrated released those regional covers with, you know, Kluber and Brantley on it, saying the Indians were going all the way. And actually, when after the Royals, I think their divisional series game, Lorenzo Cain came on, and they were asking him on MLB Network what he had predicted the AL Central to look like before the season. And he came right out and said they thought their Indians were going to run away with it, with that pitching staff. Man, I don't know what happened, because if you look at that pitching staff, I mean, if you look down at the numbers, that's a top 5 staff in the league. So we got Brantley, Kifnis, Lindor. Everything looked good, man. But the only thing I can think about is the lack of power, home run. And that's what you look at the Astros and the Cubs and the Blue Jays. You look at all the teams that made it all the way this year, and they were just hitting the ball out of the park. And I think that's one thing the Indians lacked. And that might be, if I had to pick something, that might be what I put my finger on.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, heard that.
So obviously the big story, especially since we're in the tri-state area, is the Matt Harvey, Terry Collins situation. What do you think Collins should have done with Matt Harvey last night?
110% go to Familia right there.
Even at the start of the inning.
Even at the start of the inning, I was sitting on the couch, I was watching the game with my brother, and I looked to the side, I was like, there's no way you put Harvey back out there. I get it. I get Terry Collins. I get the fans. You know, I get Harvey coming up to him and just saying, no, I'm going back out. But this is the World. Like, if this was a movie script, yeah, throw Harvey back out there. But this is the World Series. Right. I understand Familia hasn't, had his best stuff, but he's your closer. That's his role. That's his job. I can't think of a more clear-cut position to go to your closer. So, it's definitely pulling him after he walks the leadoff guy. That's what I really had.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
No, but to me, man, if I'm manning the reins, which I'm definitely not, and I'm not qualified to do, but I'm going to Familia right there.
Yeah, I said the two things that I was a fan of putting him out there, but the two things that I criticized him for were not taking him out after the leadoff walk, and then the thing that I thought was big was the fact that he couldn't tell Harvey himself that he was done. He had to tell the pitching coach to tell Matt Harvey.
Yeah, that was an interesting move. I hadn't really thought about that too much, but I don't really know what to think about that, man. It's tough to speculate what their relationship is. If you remember back to Terry Collins' press conferences when all the news came out about Harvey's inning limit and stuff like that, I'm sure Collins wasn't a happy guy because he's the one stuck in the middle. He's stuck in the middle of Harvey, his agent, and the organization. So it's tough to really speculate on what their relationship is like, and maybe you saw some of it with that.
Right. Off season started. What are your early predictions for the Mets Royals? Even throw in your predictions for your Indians as well.
Well, the Indians are going to win the World Series next year because, the future is bright. I mean, all their big teams, they got them all back next year. So we've got arguably the best coach in baseball, Terry Francona. I got full 100% faith in that guy. So hopefully ESPN and Sports Illustrated won't throw us that preseason jinx again. That would be great. But the Mets' future is bright too, man. I mean, they kind of got to do it now. If you look at that pitching staff, it's going to be the best in baseball. If you're looking at what it's like next year, if you've got a healthy Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, you got Zach Wheeler coming back, right?
Yep.
Matz, I mean that's nice, and you're getting them all for about $500,000 a year right now.
Yeah.
So you're obviously not going to be able to keep all those pieces for very long, and the moment that they show signs of not seeing success for a couple of years, I mean, it's going to be a fire sale of those guys. You know that while their worth is at the top. So they better, if they want to keep those guys, they better stay relevant. But I think they will. That pitching staff's just way too good.
Before I let you go, Shane, what's in store for your future with the website, the podcast, Basically, what's the future as your entrepreneurship? I guess I can say.
Honestly, man, when it comes to all this stuff, I don't really concentrate on the entrepreneurship part of it because this is very unique and out of the box. I'm just, from day one, the way this whole thing has started is just me being a passionate baseball fan and, putting my word out there. So I think it'd be crazy if I tried to think of it too much as a business and instead of just worrying about putting the best baseball content out there. So we're going to keep doing that. Podcast, we're on every social network everywhere. And hopefully people are going to continue to watch and listen.
Shane Sullivan, thanks a lot. Who you got on the podcast for Wednesday?
We've got Astros stud young pitcher Lance McCullers. I'm very excited about.
Very nice. Everyone go check out that podcast, the Baseball Fan podcast. Check out baseballfan.com. Follow him on Twitter at Shane Sully. Also at SHT. Can't say it on the radio. At SHT Ball Players Do. Go check him out. Very knowledgeable guy. Shane, thanks a lot for stopping by. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. You too, man. Shane Sullivan, go check him out. Very bright guy. Like I said, big Indians fan. Knows what he's talking about. Hoping for the best of what he does. The guy's a young guy. He played baseball for a long time. Played 4 years in college. Go check out his website. Go check out his podcast. You heard that he's going to have an Astro arm on the podcast, so it'll be a lot of fun. Scotty T's not here to do updates, so I'm going to try to do them myself. It's going to be the first time in a little while, but here we go anyway with your Ramapo updates. The women's volleyball NJAC tournament will start tomorrow. The Ramapo Roadrunners are the 4 seed. They will take on the 5 seed Rowan Profs tomorrow night at the Bradley Center. Scott and I will be on the call at that game. You can hear that game right here on WRPR. The winner will travel to top seeded Stockton on Thursday night. The men's cross country team finished in second place at the NJAC Championships. Jeremy Hernandez won the AK. Matt Tui finished in second. Paul Julis in fourth. The women's team finished in third place. Paris Hughes was Ramapo's top finisher at third place overall. Emily Brock earned seventh place, while Emily Kroonquist placed in 10th. The men's swim team defeated SUNY New Paltz on Friday. The 400-yard medley relay team placed first overall. Aspen J. Tucker and Peter Kellner finished 1 and 2 in the 200-yard freestyle, while Jose Alvarez captured a first-place finish in the 100-yard backstroke. RJ Carrillo placed first in the 100-yard freestyle, while Ramapo captured the top 3 spots in the 200-yard butterfly. Tucker also captured a first-place finish in the 100-yard freestyle, while Alvarez placed first overall in the 200-yard backstroke. Carrillo added another first-place finish to his day with the 200-yard breast. Jesse Smith and Gene Pozniakov went 1-2 in the 100-yard fly. Smith also won the 200-yard instant medley. The women's swim team lost to SUNY New Paltz on Friday. Maggie Herbert won the 50-yard freestyle and the 100-yard freestyle. Brenda Arthur captured a first-place finish in the 100-yard butterfly. Both teams returned to action on Saturday when they traveled to TCNJ, who is nationally ranked, at 1 o'clock p.m. Moving on to the pros, the story of the day. The Royals are World Series champs after the Mets squandered a 2-0 lead last night. Terry Collins left Matt Harvey in the top of the 9th, but he couldn't close the door. Eric Hosmer scored the game-tying run on an errant throw by Lucas Duda. Top of the 12th, Christian Colon got the game-winning RBI single. The Royals scored 4 more runs after that. They win the game 7-2 and the series 4-1. Salvador Perez was named the series MVP. Moving on to football, the New York Giants scored 49 points and lost, the second team in NFL history to do that. The Saints kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired, despite Eli Manning throwing 350 yards and 6 touchdowns, 3 of them to Odell Beckham Jr., but Drew Brees topped out with 7 touchdowns and 511 yards of his own. The Giants moved to 4-4. They will face the Buccaneers next Sunday in Tampa Bay. The New York Jets also lost. They lost to the Oakland Raiders 34-20. Fitzpatrick left the game with an injury, torn ligaments in his non-throwing thumb. They brought in Geno Smith. He didn't do terrible, 27 for 42, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. But Derek Carr, on the other hand, 23 for 36, 333 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Jets moved to 4-3. They will take on the Jags next week. The Knicks are 2-1. They beat the Wizards 117-110 on Saturday. Melo dropping 37 that night. The Spurs visit the Garden tonight at 7:30. The Nets are 0-3. They lost to the Grizzlies on Saturday, 101-91. The Nets shot 3 for 11 from three-point range. They'll look to win their first game of the season tonight at 7:30 as the Bucks come into the Barclays Center. In hockey news, the Rangers are off tonight. They will take on the Washington Capitals tomorrow night at the Garden. And the Devils beat the Islanders in a shootout on Saturday. They'll face each other tomorrow night at the Barclays Center. You're listening to Beast of the East on WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to WRPR Mawa.
Now that's a face for radio.
It's perfect. It's unbelievable.
It's a miracle.
It's a TV dinner.
It's WRPR, Mawa Ramapo Radio.
It could change the world.
Listening to WRPR.
Hey, parents of children with asthma, here's another hit from the Breathe Easies.
Don't smoke in the house. Don't smoke in the house. Don't smoke around the kids in the house. Don't smoke in the car. Don't smoke in the house. Don't break my heart with your secondhand smoke in the kids and contribute asthma.
Preventing asthma attacks can be as simple as making your home and car smoke-free zones. For more Breathe Easy tips to help stop asthma attacks, go to noattacks.org. Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad.
Hey, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers for RAD. I'm here to remind you that drunk drivers are still a major killer of young adults in this country. So always choose a designated driver, and remember, music lives, you should too.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
No Scotty T. No Scotty T, but we have to do Beasts of the Week anyway. Scott said he was going to call in, but he's not calling in. Maybe he'll call in later with his thoughts. My Beast of the Week. He had Drew Brees throw 7 touchdowns, 511 yards, but you know what? It was against the Giants defense. Still very impressive, but I'm going to give it to Eric Hosmer. We saw what the guy did last night. A very smart baseball player. The guys know what he's doing. Getting the game time run on the top of the 9th. Going with that delayed steal. This guy just knows how to play. And he had a rough game in game 1. He had that error. But you know what? He redeemed himself with that game-winning sack fly. And this guy can just flat out play the game of baseball. So there it is, Eric Hosmer, my Beast of the Week. Congratulations to Eric Hosmer and the Kansas City Royals on winning the 2015 World Series title. Ryan Morrick, Beast of the East, WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. Calling with your thoughts, 201-825-1234. That's 201-825-1234. We're going to stick with the Mets talk before we get into the Giants and Jets talk really quickly. But before we do that, we're going to open back up the phone lines, and we're going to see who this is. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
It's Matt from Oberst. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, what's going on? I just wanted to talk about maybe, obviously, the World Series, and then, you know, if I'm the Mets GM, what do I do next year?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, just to start off, the Mets belong. They're not far off. You know, sometimes you get those teams that they kind of make it, but it's like, if they're going to make it back next year, you really have to tweak some things.
Right.
I don't think the Mets are that. I mean, the Mets completely overpowered the Cubs, and this has to be the most competitive 5-game World Series of all
Oh, yeah.
time.
Without, this is up there with 2000, I think. They're really similar.
Yeah. I mean, the Mets are in the 9th inning 3 times, 8th and 9th inning 3 times, and, just can't close the door. And I get it. That's what the Royals do, but still. Also, what was your take on last night? Terry Collins, Matt Harvey,
going into the ninth?
He should have started the ninth inning, but once he walked Lorenzo Cain, you have to take him out. That's my thought.
Okay.
And I was not
agree.
a fan of the pitching coach going up to Harvey and saying that he was done. I think that should have been Collins' job from the
I think people don't realize how mental this game is, and I think had Matt Harvey walked in the dugout and Terry Collins said, "You ready to go, kid?" I think this would have been. I think he would have went out there and you would have seen a different Matt Harvey, just because. Having to fight your way back onto the field just adds a lot of pressure. Walks the first guy. It's just,
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if Collins treats it differently, if Collins gives Harvey any sort of confidence, then who knows? That's a good point.
But so I guess just moving on to next season with the Mets, a lot of the key guys you're probably not going to have back: Murphy, Cespedes. I think Cespedes walks. I think Murphy walks. But I'm not too comfortable with Dilson Herrera coming in and playing second base next year. I know they kind of believe in him, but I really look to get rid of Duda. I don't really like Lucas Duda. He's got to be the streakiest player in the league, and kind of reminds me of Mike Davis, where it's like, well, he's gonna hit you the 30 home runs, so you keep him around, but
right.
He gets hot when you don't really need him to, and when he's off, he's really off. So I would try to sign Daniel Murphy. And this isn't just me overreacting as a Met fan because he had a great postseason. He's a great hitter.
Yeah.
And you could probably put him and Conforto back-to-back, and they're both really good hitters. They use the entire field. They don't strike out.
Yep.
And I tried to use Daniel Murphy as my first baseman, and David Wright, who knows how many... David Wright could miss 100 games next year. We don't know.
Yeah.
And he can play third base for David Wright when he needs to. I like keeping Daniel Murphy because he doesn't strike out, and he has power when he wants to have power. So my infield kind of looks something like David Wright at third base, I try to make a move for a shortstop instead of going for, a second baseman. And I try to stick someone there, and that's kind of like, maybe you put David Wright at second base. I don't know.
I think they might try to make a move for Reyes.
I don't know how I feel about that, but
I know, yeah, you don't seem like too big of a Jose Reyes fan, but I don't know. We'll see. I think that they should sign Daniel Murphy, not because of what he did in the World Series. I just think that Daniel Murphy is this team's best hitter. It's going to be him and Conforto. They're the two best contact hitters. They're the two best hitters for average. It's that simple. I think that you'll get away with Murphy's defense, and the only reason why you didn't get away with Murphy's defense is because you were playing the Kansas City Royals. That's just the thing that happens. And who knows? Murphy can improve his defense. He's going to have a lot of work. I think that they should re-sign Murphy.
Putting him at first base, you kind of, I don't want to say you eliminate it, but the whole defense thing is a little underrated when you put him at first base.
Yeah. So. I mean, the thing is, Duda has the arm problem, Murphy has the glove problem.
Yeah.
So you put Murphy at first base, he probably makes that throw yesterday. But yeah, I think they got to re-sign Murphy. I don't think they should heavily pursue Cespedes, as insane as that might sound, because he's not a 300 hitter. No. Cespedes is usually a 250, 260 guy who's going to hit 20 to 25 home runs. Did he have a great year? Absolutely. But that's not the Yoenis Cespedes that we usually see.
I'm in favor of letting him go. I think you have to. And especially because I'm obviously extremely... You don't have to have great hitting when your pitching rotation is going to be Harvey DeGrom, Syndergaard, Matt Wheeler, whatever. But, you're going to have to pay some of those guys sometime. And Yoenis Cespedes seems like a guy that you waste money on and you lose some of your pitching. I let Yoenis Cespedes go.
I agree. And then you have to worry about... I mean, I know you got to focus on next year especially, but you really have to focus on 4 or 5 years from now. Who would you rather give that money to? Harvey DeGrom Syndergaard or Yoenis Cespedes?
Yeah, exactly.
The easy answer is the three pitchers, without a doubt.
Yeah.
How are you today? Are you...
you know what? It's it hit me more in the morning, and then you go and you watch all those like fan-made 2015 playoff pump-up videos and this and that, and it just remembering all those moments, Can I ask you, what's your favorite moment of the Mets season? Mine's obviously the Wilmer Flores walk-off after crying on the field, this and that, but it was just full of magic. What was your favorite Mets moment of 2015? Because I know you followed the team just about as closely as you did the Yankees.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is true. It is. I know you didn't watch the Mets when you were watching the Yankees, but you would flip channels and you would get back to me on what you thought about every Mets game.
Right. Whenever the Yankees were not playing, I was watching the Mets. If the Yankees were in a commercial, I turned on the Mets game. But, I mean, the Wilmer Flores thing is really like the cliche answer.
Yeah.
I think that that's probably it, because once that happened, then you really said to yourself, this team is not out of it. This team wants to win. And as soon as Wilmer Flores hit that walk-off, that's when you said to yourself, this is magic and something very, very special could happen. That and David Wright hitting the home run when he came back.
That was awesome.
Those are probably my top two of the regular season, because those hits, they really made you say to yourself, there is a chance, and next year might be this year. Unfortunately, next year was not this year, but those are the moments where you say to yourself, there is a chance, and those are the moments where you say to yourself, something special is going to happen.
I think the Mets are the team to beat in the National League next season. Just the rotation's just unbelievable. They're the team to beat.
I think I agree. I think that we don't know what the Nationals are. Last year they won 97 games. This year we expected them. They were predicted to be the only 100-game winner, and look what happened. They didn't even make the postseason. So you never know what you're going to get with the Nationals, but we'll see.
I don't think they could dethrone the Mets with that rotation. I really don't. But, obviously excited for next year. I think the Mets find their way back. It's going to be a long off season. I'm sorry about your Giants yesterday. I'm sorry for myself about the Jets yesterday. It was a rough football Sunday, and I guess that's really all I have now.
Yeah, that was. I was going to try to talk about that if I ever got a chance to, because obviously it's a heavy Mets day. But yeah, that Giants game was really terrible.
I don't know how you throw for that many yards and then a touchdown to lose a game.
Because the Giants are not a smart football team. They're not a good football team. They're a 12-4 offense with a 4-12 defense, and then they're not smart. They are not smart, and they just find ways to lose, and that's going to be their bugaboo this year. That's simple.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem. All right, hang in there. The Jets are going to make the playoffs. Don't worry. I hope.
I don't know.
I mean, after yesterday, yesterday really killed them, but I think they are still in good shape.
No, but that loss just felt like last year's loss to the Chargers, and Geno Smith is on the field. It was just such a terrible feel. I know.
Yeah, it was rough. Yesterday was a tough day.
Yeah, I like the Jaguars as a nice bounce back game this week, though.
Oh yeah. If you don't win next week, then then
no matter who's playing quarterback. If I'm playing quarterback, you should win next week, Ed.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, Matt. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Mets. I think they should sign Murphy. I don't think they should heavily pursue Cespedes because that's not the type of player he is. But we'll see. They have a lot of decisions to make. Opening up the phone lines again. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Ryan. It's Scott.
Hey, what's up?
What are you talking about?
The Mets, as usual.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I got 10 minutes. Let's talk.
You do? What time's your game on? Your softball game?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Is Ange there?
What?
Is Ange there?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell her I said what's up.
Ange, Ryan says what's up. She said what's up. All right.
Ange D'Amico, the greatest softball player to step foot in Albridge High School.
History.
We talked about Harvey. We talked about David. I mean, I want to get your thoughts on Harvey and the Harvey-Terry Collins thing. What do you think they should have done?
I honestly think that he should have went out. The guy was pitching lights out, brilliant display of baseball, Ryan. And you can't. I mean, obviously you can't argue that. It's just when he came out, when he went into the ninth inning, the guy tried to overthrow the whole time. He was too pumped up instead of settling down and getting the job done.
Yeah, the guy sprinted to the mound.
Sprinted to the mound. Was throwing gas in warm-ups. Jimbo was telling me yesterday. Like, he heard the glove pop from the third deck. Like, he was overthrown to Lorenzo Cain. You could see that.
Yeah.
That's where that walk came from. And Eric Hosmer was just fastball looking. And you know what? Terry Collins did say, I let my heart decide over my gut, and you know what? There's nothing they can do about it now. But I don't know. I just feel like Matt Harvey should have went out because with 40,000 plus people calling his name, I mean, how can you not? After the display he put on all day. What do you think?
I think he should. I agree, but he should have been taken out after the walk.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree after that. But Terry Collins said that. He said after the game, he's like, I'm not going to put the guy on for one batter if I was going to put him out there. I thought he was completely wrong in that. The minute you saw him walk him, you knew that there was going to be a little bit. I knew he was going to steal, too. Did you see the camera angle that they showed?
Yeah.
Perfect camera angle. The guy was leaning on his right leg. Harvey's not quick to the plate, and Lorenzo Cain's as fast as they come. So, You know what? Can't say anything about it now. Obviously, there's going to be he said, she said, and what ifs, but we can only speculate at this point.
Yeah.
But I just want to say congrats to the Royals real quick.
Yeah.
Amazing job. Absolutely amazing job. They outscored the Mets 15-1 after the 7th inning. That's just insane.
The Mets had the lead in 43 out of the 52 innings?
Yep, and that's just how resilient this team is, and you just got to commend them for it. You knew coming into this that this was going to be the Mets' hardest job. And
yep. You know what's funny? Like, we remember I picked the Mets in 4 or 5, and when you look at that stat, when they led for every inning but 10, you look at that stat and you say there's no way that the Mets lose this series, let alone lose in 5 games.
No, not at all. Not at all. And if they could only finish it last night and go to Kansas City, you got DeGrom and Syndergaard on the mound, who knows what would have happened.
Yep.
Who knows? But they just couldn't close. Due to panicking on that throw, all he had to do was put a nice shot on it, and there's just so many what-ifs that happened just in that inning alone that, everything was working in the Royals' favor. It just seemed that way.
Ryan Warwick, and now we got Scott Thompson on Beast of the East, WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. We got about 10 minutes left. Not sure if we'll get into the Giants and Jets talk. There really nothing needs to be said about that. If there's time, we'll talk about it. But right now, the thing that I want to talk about is how Met fans treated Daniel Murphy and Yoenis Cespedes in this World Series.
Awful.
Them two guys brought you to the World Series. You are begging the Aldersons and the Wilpons to re-sign these two guys. But the last thing of 2015 they are going to remember is them being booed off of the field by your own fans. Players remember that, Scott. And if you boo, I have never, to my knowledge, booed someone that is on my favorite team. I've never done it.
Absolutely
at least I don't think I have. Could I have? Probably. I've been rooting for sports for 20 years. Have I shown negativity? Have I wanted someone off of the field? Of course I have. But I have never booed anyone on my own team.
That is because we are sports fans, Ryan. Remember what happened with A-Rod. A-Rod was getting booed up at that by Yankees fans.
Yep.
It's despicable when you think about A-Rod, who was a big part in their recent World Series win, and you're just going to boo him the next couple of years. That's what it reminded me of at first. But like you said, Daniel Murphy and Yoenis Cespedes are the reason why you even made it to the playoffs in the first place.
Yep.
And you're going to boo them, and you want to re-sign them? Honestly, if I'm Yoenis Cespedes especially, the guy's asking for about $200 million. That's what he's going to be projected to ask for. The Mets, I don't know if they're going to put that up. But after what happened, I don't think that Yoenis Cespedes, of all people, he's going to go to a place where he's loved and he's wanted. Mm-hmm. How can you switch your entire mindset on one person in the span of, 7 games? Or however many games happened. Daniel Murphy, same thing. He basically won you the NLCS.
Yeah. I get it. You have to state the facts, and you have to accept the fact that Yoenis Cespedes and Daniel Murphy did not play well in the World Series. Yoenis Cespedes didn't play well throughout the entire postseason, and Murphy batted, 150, 170 in the World Series? I get it. You're not happy with them, but And it's okay if you say something like, how can they screw up this badly, blah, blah, blah. But to be at the game and boo them, and they practically single-handedly brought you to the first World Series since 2000. The Mets had a chance to win their first World Series since 1986. 29 years, and it will be 30 considering they lost. And you're going to boo the two main guys who brought you to the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? It's just mesmerizing, Ryan, honestly, because look at all the charisma that was behind this team before this World Series, and one thing happens wrong. Game one just switched off Mets fans. It's just the way they went about everything, the way they conceived all that happened. It wasn't on just one person. You can't blame Daniel Murphy and Yoenis Cespedes for losing the World Series. Lucas Duda throws that ball away. Game one, George Familia throws a ball right down the pipe, tries to quick pitch him instead of throwing a sinker. You know, there is so much that went wrong. The Mets lost the World Series.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one person. So the fact that they got booed is just, you know, it's just awful. It's just awful. I feel bad for them. I commend all that they did this year. We did it. We were talking about it the entire year. These guys were great. There's no doubting that, and just the fact that even happened, awful.
Peter Rosenberg said something that made a lot of sense on the Michael Kay show. He said that people were booing Daniel Murphy because he couldn't feel the ground ball. Why are you deciding to boo Daniel Murphy now when he hasn't been able to feel the ground ball for years? And you know what it is? Those are the guys, those are the fans who didn't watch a play up until October.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Literally half of the fans.
Yeah.
They weren't even watching the Mets because they had no shot, but then, you know, as Cespedes came and, you know, tables turned. But like I said on the show before, Ryan, I wanted to switch it up a little bit. The Mets, I said this before, the Mets will only lose the series if they beat themselves. And what happened?
Yep, exactly.
They beat themselves.
A-Rod said it also.
They just beat themselves. They couldn't capitalize when they had the lead. Yes, this team is good. Yes, they're scrappy. Yes, they put the ball in play. But they beat themselves because the Mets were the better team, in my opinion. In my opinion, they really were. With that pitching staff and the way everyone was hitting, they were the better team. And we saw they had the lead innings 1 through 6. But, you know, this isn't Little League. You got to finish a major league game. You still got 3 innings left, and it's crunch time. So they just couldn't capitalize. And the Royals, adding to that, now it's 6-0 for teams that have made it back the next year. You know, no one's lost. So
and another thing that the players are going to remember, I mean, I get it. You don't want to see another team celebrate a World Series victory on your own home field, especially when you lose 7-2 and just get completely embarrassed from the 9th inning on. But if your team was not expected to make it to the World Series, and they do, and they bring you so much happiness for essentially the last 2 months, 3 months, August, September, October. They bring you so much happiness, and you leave the game early and don't even give them any credit.
No. Kudos to the fans that stayed, that they went out and clapped to and shook their hands.
Yep.
Those are the true Mets fans, because they understand that it's not just 3-4 months worth of baseball. You got 3-4 years out of these pitchers. You have a young team. Honestly, they're going to get another playoff shot. World Series, who knows? But playoff shots,
definitely.
Same for the Cubs too. These young teams are just going to throw themselves all up in the rankings because they're in the primes. They're the young guns, and they want it. So it's what's going to happen. So the Mets fans that are booing and are leaving after the 9th inning because they know their team's going to lose, even though it's a tie game, shame on you. Shame on you.
I mean, once Duda threw that ball away, I kind of had a feeling that it was over.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. And you know what? I'm going to go back to when we went to the wild card game. Down 3-0 in the bottom of the 9th. I knew it was over. But I had no idea the Yankees were going to play in the wild card game. I didn't think they would be 500. Yeah. And they made it to the postseason, and I sat there, and I clapped for the Yankees because I didn't expect it. And that's my way of thanking them for a great season.
Absolutely. We did the same thing. We were sitting there. We stayed. You know, the Yankees were walking off the field, but we stayed. Good job. We'll get them next year. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
I hate fans that are just so quick to doubt. You know, there's always going to be another year. There's always going to be 162 more games and then some if you make the playoffs. You just got to believe. And the Mets fans just have to believe. The true Mets fans, they're going to.
Yeah.
Everyone else can change their minds later. But anyway, I got to get playing some championship softball.
Championship slow pitch softball.